unemployed for the first time in about 6 years. So this is my third day unemployed for the first time in about 6 years. And I have to say, I am feeling a lot weirder than I expected to, but at the end of the day, once I explain, you're going to realize that it's very normal feelings. When I logged off for the very last time at the job that I was previously at, I was actually feeling really optimistic and enthusiastic and excited for what the future held, especially because it was like the third day in the new year, and I was just in that high of, oh my gosh, there's so much potential in the year and there's so many things that I want to work on in the year, and we talked about those things. And so I was feeling really, really excited actually when I started packing my things away. It felt almost like a physical representation of my mind, that I was packing away a former version of my life and stepping forth in something brand new and exciting, and that is something that prioritizes me. And I have to say, I still feel that way overall, but today I woke up feeling weird. I woke up feeling almost like a child, which I know is a strange way to explain this, but I haven't not had a job in 6 years. So 6 years ago, I was 24, and I definitely wasn't a child then, but I feel like I had more time and space and comfort in not having a full-time salary job back then, because I was still figuring things out and I didn't know what I wanted to do fully back then. Whereas now I feel kind of strange going about my day without that stability and that structure that most people, or a lot of people in their 30s, have with a salaried or a 9 to 5 kind of job. I shouldn't say most, I should say like generally speaking, because I do know that there are certainly people that are less fortunate than me, but you get the gist. I'm feeling kind of like I'm a kid back at home, but I'm not, because I'm still in my current home, still paying a mortgage. Don't have a job, don't know what the future holds, but also at the same time, I have so many goals and prospects and ideas for this upcoming year. So it's like a weird in-between kind of feeling, and I'm not really sure how to navigate it at this given moment, other than to just push forward. And this video is not at all about like my unemployment journey. we're in a video talking about slowing down with art, so I will stop my little spiel there, and I'll probably talk a little bit more about it in another slow morning routine that is coming out this week, where it'll be my first slow morning routine of the year, but also my first slow morning routine of the year where I'm unemployed, so we'll get into that. But like I said, I want to kind of move onward and try to lean into the feelings that I felt when I was really optimistic just a few days ago, or like a week ago. And so how I'm going to do that is just work on my art today, in addition to all of the other unemployment type of things that I have to work on. But like I hinted at in some previous videos where I said I would be spending a lot more time this year focusing on art, that is exactly what I'm going to attempt to do. I started Skillshare yesterday. I had gotten a gift, a 6-month membership of Skillshare over Christmas, and so I started it yesterday, and I'm really starting at the basics just to have the basic knowledge of certain art skills and techniques and stuff like that. And I'm going to continue on today, taking more classes and experimenting with my art and learning about art, getting myself immersed in that. And hopefully the weird feeling will kind of dissipate once I start to get more comfortable in this new routine, in this new journey that I am currently on in the new year, right at the start of the new year. So like I said, I just started Skillshare yesterday, and I took about, I don't know how many classes it was. It was a lot of different sessions. The way that Skillshare is set up, it's sort of like a really long class, but then it's cut up into segments. So I did a lot of segments yesterday. I think I'm halfway finished with the first like big lesson. And what I did after that was just put some white paint on a page and I let it dry because I knew it was going to take some time. So what I'm going to hopefully do today is, now that I've primed this paper with some paint and it's all dried and ready to go, I'm going to start experimenting with colors and color mixing and very, very basic things, but exciting things. By the way, if you're curious about this, I found this at McNally Jackson. You all know I love going to McNally Jackson and they have fantastic stationery, but this paper is 100% recycled paper and it says it's cotton paper. And whenever I go to a store and I see that there's cotton paper, I pick it up because I think cotton paper is really, really fantastic and special and really good for art and painting. It can really hold the weight up as well. So yeah, I found this at McNally Jackson. It says it's East End Press and it's a sketchbook. I don't know if you want to see the back there. But the cover is really cute and it's got a good amount of paper in there. This is so random, but Notion allowed me to create this cute new portrait and I love it. I love the little pencil on the ear. Okay, I am just gonna get started here. I have these paints and I'm just using 3 primary colors here based off of the class that, told me to do that. So I have blue, red, and yellow. They also told me to have white and black on hand to just experiment with colors. So I'm going to do that. And then again, this is the paper that I kind of primed. I'm supposed to be using a material for priming in particular, but I don't have it. So I just use white paint and hopefully that will be okay. And then this is my palette. It's like a acrylic palette. And I think that this is going to do me some really good. I just need to make sure that I wash it immediately afterward because I typically do not do that and that's not good. And then of course my brushes, oh, you probably can't see them. I have a bunch of brushes that I'm going to experiment with. Let's see if you can see it kind of there. And then my water to clean my brushes. I'm really excited about this. I also need to learn how to not use so much paint, like applying so much. Maybe I shouldn't put them so close to each other. You know what? It's fine. I feel like I'm using way too much paint, even with that little dollop, but we'll see. I do want to give myself a lot of space on the entire palette to mix these. And something that I found really interesting when I was listening to the class is that the instructor, she uses a lot of water, a lot more water than I anticipated for acrylic paints. So we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna start with a very basic brush here. I feel like that's too watery. Or maybe not. Let's try a different color. I'll use a lot more. I feel like I'm using way too much water. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. That's beautiful. But again, it almost looks like gouache or watercolor. It doesn't look like acrylic. Maybe I'm just too used to that. I'm gonna try using way less water this time around. And you know what? Let's move on to another brush because I use this brush a lot and I'm comfortable with it. So let's try something I'm not as comfortable with. Okay, this looks a lot more like acrylic. Let's see. I don't know if I'm mixing it properly. Wow. Wow, that's so pretty. I know it's not like the most mind-boggling thing to mix colors, but my mind is blown for some reason. I do this all the time with my watercolor, so I don't know why I'm necessarily surprised. But acrylic is not my strongest suit. I'm really new with acrylic. Hence the 101 classes. I love this. Okay, that was so much fun. I learned a few things while I was experimenting with this very small exercise. One, I don't need to be scared when colors kind of mix together on the palette. They do turn out really well and you can end up with some really nice colors. So that was a relief, honestly, because I get really freaked out when the colors start mixing and fusing on the palette, and then I feel like I'm dirtying up the paints, so to speak. But I should probably be more open and willing to mixing just on the palette instead of getting like colors that are specifically this purple or anything like that. Clearly I didn't start with any purple at all, and this is a really nice purple. Another thing I learned is that I can use my brushes and I can mix the paints very similarly to how I mix paints using watercolor and gouache. I'm very like loosey-goosey. I really get in there and I get it mixed up whenever I'm using those kinds of paints because it encourages that with so much water. And I'm now realizing that I can do that with acrylic as well. I can utilize the water for sure and make it a little bit more translucent than I thought I could, because clearly some of them are not as translucent, but some are, and they still look really good. I don't know if I'm actually doing that correctly, but it did help me get the paint on the paper, which is a success in my eyes because I'm just experimenting and trying to be less scared of a medium that I'm not really used to. So that was a very fun exercise. Yay, I'm so glad that I did my first exercise on this art course journey that I'm on right now with Skillshare. I'm really excited to see what I'm going to be working on today, because this is actually a continuation from yesterday's lessons that I had to, of course, like I mentioned, wait for the paint to dry on the base of this. So I don't know what I'm going to be working on today, actually. Okay, I know this setup is super random because my standing desk is really gigantic and meant for like a keyboard and a laptop and all of that, and I just have my tiny little iPad here, but I really want to get my steps in, so this is what we're working with. I'm going to watch my Skillshare class, which right now I am up to texture when it comes to acrylic paints. So I'm just gonna walk and listen to this and potentially take notes on my phone while I watch, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so I did my class for today on Skillshare and it was so much fun. I really got into the nitty-gritty of actually doing paintings in this round as opposed to yesterday where it was like really super basic stuff. So I'm really excited to actually paint something other than just, swatches. So I have this book, this acrylic painting book that I picked up somewhere. I'm pretty sure I thrifted it at like a used bookstore somewhere. And it has so many fantastic, it has dust all over it, but it has so many fantastic still life references in here. So I think what I'm going to do next, and I will do this in a separate video or in a separate time, I am going to use one of the references in here and paint it and see how I go in my first try ever with actual lessons and techniques learned. So I'm really excited about that, but that's going to happen sometime in the future, not right at this second, because I do have to prime my paper again, and that takes a really long time. But you will be caught up with everything as I do these slowing down with art videos. I know this started off a little bit somber, but I am already feeling a lot better now that I've gotten into the groove of the day, and hopefully I will get into the groove of the week and the month and as time goes on, and we'll see how things go in terms of the unemployment stuff. But for now, I'm really happy that I have, and I'm really privileged and grateful to have the time and space to be able to do something like this in the meanwhile or alongside my job search. But if you did choose to support me in any type of way, honestly, watching these videos, making it to the end of this video is so much support. Hitting a like, subscribing, sharing it with a friend, all of those things are forms of support for me, and I appreciate it so much. Like I mentioned at the start of this year, which was not too long ago, YouTube is a huge focus for me. It's my most favorite platform, so any support that you show here just by watching and sharing and engaging means a lot to me. I do have other things that you can support me on, like following me on other social media platforms or signing up to my Patreon, where I release monthly phone wallpapers and have like a little mini community there as well. But yeah, I just appreciate you. I appreciate you coming along this journey and being interested and excited about it. I've been getting some really awesome feedback on this series, so I'm glad that we started it together. But I am looking forward to the next step in this art journey, and I will talk to you in the next one.